Okay, let's get started. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to this session with MS Direct. And it's my pleasure to introduce to you Luca Graf, the CEO of MS Direct, and he will tell us everything about hassle-free cross-border e-commerce. I'm really curious to learn more. If you have any questions, keep them, because at the end there will be a chance to ask questions. Have fun.
Thank you very much, Sophie, for the very nice introduction. And hello, everyone. My name is Luca. I'm the CEO of MS Direct. And as Sophie already announced, I would like to delve you into the area of cross-border shipping and what makes you successful in shipping internationally. It's a funny setup we have here today. It looks a bit like competition between the different areas. So many apparently are interested in Amazon, but from the colors I see, maybe if someone switches over as well. So funny setup. We will manage that for sure with fun. How I would like to go through this presentation with you. First, explain who we are, what we are doing, and then delve into a post-purchase customer experience study we have done last month. It's still ongoing, but I would like to share with you the first results of that study we have done with focus on market Switzerland, so on the customer experience in the post-purchase process. I would like then also to underline what is essential to be successful in shipping internationally to Switzerland, but also to other particularly cross-customs border markets, also showing you two benchmark cases. And also have a giveaway for you, so please wait a bit with me and find out what the giveaway will be. So who we are a logistics service provider, and we are very honored to work for very known brands in the e-commerce market. If you see here on that slide, and with some we have also done that customer survey and post-purchase experience. So what do we do for these privileged customers? We assist them in different areas of the logistics process. On the one hand, into fulfillment services. So we do warehousing and classical pick and pack and shipping goods from our warehouses based in Switzerland and in Germany. And that also includes returns handling. We are specialized on returns handling, so also refurbishment, classification, registration, all of that. The second main product we offer is cross-border shipping services, and that's the focus of today's session. Here we assist you with everything from transportation to last mile carriage to returns handling, particularly to the customs brokerage process, so export clearance, import clearance. We also assist you in VAT registration and fiscal representation. We are a company with experience for 46 years on the market. We have grown out of Switzerland. Meanwhile, we are present in more markets than only Switzerland. We have processed, for instance, as some KPIs last year, 39 million articles, out of which 18 million returns are. You see what some of our specialty is in returns processing as well. We are a mid-sized company, very international, 6 locations, and with particularly 3 solutions for international markets, Switzerland, the UK, and Norway. So we focus on where it's the most difficult, where you have the customs border in between, and where the most hassle usually is for you and your customers. The countries I already mentioned in which we are present, like Switzerland, the UK, and Norway, and our newest location is in Germany, where we also do returns management and fulfillment. Let's come to the post-purchase experience study, the major part of my presentation today, and I would like to give you a sneak peek into the results of that study we have made. It's a study we made in collaboration with the Fachhochschule Nordwestschweiz, so it's a university from northern western Switzerland. Their focus, so the institute we work with as our academic partner, they are focused on analyzing customer experience. So it's of course a good match to work with them with study. And what we did, so we did a mystery shopping of online purchases at 42 prominent online shops. and analyzed in particular the post-purchase experience, but also the experience during the purchase. We focused on certain categories: fashion, accessories, outdoor wear, beauty, and health. Yeah, so these were the shops. I give you also a list soon on which of the shops we looked at. So we did a purchase and we analyzed the experience during the whole process, and particularly the post-purchase part. We measured 31 criterias, and what we will now going in addition, we will enrich the whole data we have gathered and do interviews with representatives from the online shops, and also we'll do some desk research and then complement the whole study. And by the way, that's already can pre-announce the giveaway I can offer you. So I give you today a sneak peek into the results. What is important to be successful in a cross-border delivery process and market, at the example of Switzerland. And the full results of the study you can get by scanning the QR code. There is a flyer on your chair. You can scan that and register to get the full results. I will give you the QR code also later on. You can scan that in order to register for the full results. So these are the shops we have analyzed, the online and particularly the post-purchase experience. Are any representatives from these shops here in the audience listening at the moment to me? Please raise your hand if it's the case. Hey, okay, great. So listen and have a look what the results are coming out. As I said, focus is on market Switzerland. So what do you think? And it would be great to get an opinion from the audience already pre-hand. What is important when you in the post-purchase experience, when you ship to a market? What are the important factors in order to satisfy and inspire your customers? Any opinions? There's one hand coming here. Oh, and Sophie is coming with the micro. Thank you, Sophie.
If you could state your name and company, that would be great.
Sure. Tobias Wilms from Revo Group. Well, personally for me, I would say transparency about the status of my delivery and, of course, speed in the delivery until I get it at my door.
Very good. I think a part of the presentation you can give now already. Other factors you think are important in the customer experience, particularly post-purchase experience? Any other opinions, hands? If not, I of course share, let's say, the factors we looked at and what we believe customer success factors are in that whole process. So first, we call it the general customer experience, and this is what you stated. It's about the transparency you give in the whole delivery process. So all the information you pass transparently to your customer about the delivery, but also about the returns, that we consider a major factor. So we have, let's say, as I said, measured 31 factors or criteria, and these are, let's say, kind of the categories you can fit them in. The second element which we analyzed, of course, is also the cost. So how much does it cost to ship to you, and particularly also to return items back if the customer doesn't want to keep everything. Delivery time, you mentioned that as well. Of course, that's a major element, and that's a major element we measured in that whole study. Also looking at the return process, how easy it is to return something. Could be that you don't like to make it easy, but that's an outcome also of the study. You will see that most of these shops try to make it as easy as possible and to offer a good customer experience in that regards as well. We have a new element here in the whole study we looked at sustainability. So what are the shops, what are they doing in terms of offering also a sustainable experience? And we looked also at, we call it best practices, particularly for the Swiss market, addressing maybe some particularities of the Swiss market. So let's come to the first success factor and our results. And that's about the transparency, or it's about the delivery experience. And what we find very important is to offer local carriers in the shipping experience. So stating the first results here. So we looked at the 41 shops, and you see the high percentage of, for instance, in that case, the Swiss Post, they selected as their last mile carrier. So the Swiss Post, DPD, QuickPack, and Planzer, these are all local carriers, while DHL and FedEx are the known international shipping carriers. And you see the number of last mile carriers they offer, and particularly who they offer. And why is that? As I said, local carriers are very important for a good customer experience, because consumers in a country know these local carriers the best. They trust them. They know maybe the postman by name. They know, and also the local carriers usually offer the best options in terms of delivery: home delivery, Pudo delivery, local delivery. So these are the the two main reasons why local carriers are important to consider. And this is something what we can prove here with that study, that most of these successful shops delivering to Switzerland use local carriers. We also looked where they communicate about these carriers, and you shouldn't hide that, because here in the study we found that almost a fourth of the shops do not communicate the carriers they ship with. We find that very important. And it's interesting to compare where they put this note. So is it in the footer, or is it at the checkout, the information page, at the different stages in the process where they mention with which carrier they ship? It can be a USP, as I said, or it should be of shipping with a local carrier. We looked also at the parcel tracking. So let's say 98% of all the shops of these 41 we considered in the study, they offer tracking. It's interesting to see what kind of tracking services they offer. So it's 59% they offer a carrier tracking. So it's the carrier who sends messages to the customer. Only 8% send messages only from a shop. So the carrier doesn't send a message about the tracking information, but it's the shop, so in the branding also of the shop. And it's interesting to see that meanwhile 33% are sending tracking information both from the carrier and the shop. And there's, according also to my experience, something very important to consider, that this information should be unified, should be congruent. First, of course, you don't want to spam your customer. I know this experience when you get, I don't know, every second hour a tracking message, which is a bit too much. One from the carrier, one from the shop, and then one from the carrier and one to the shop. That's a bit too much. And of course, but most important is also that the information is the same. This is a learning I would like to share, because we interestingly see that in more and more cases, it's the carrier and the shop who communicate the tracking information. So we talked a lot about local carriers and about tracking and visibility. Let's talk about the delivery. And you might recognize one of these delivery heroes there. So it's a good experience doing that yourself to understand how a customer experience can be while delivering a parcel. We looked at the delivery times, of course. How long does it take that the parcel arrives, and what options do the shops give to the customers? So many have the standard option, or they have only one option. And in, how much is it? 22% of the cases, they also offer an express option. So there is usually for an upsell offer, they offer also an express option. In Switzerland, it's also something common to offer an option for Saturday delivery. So many people working during the week, they are not at home at week. They would like to receive the parcel only at a Saturday. And that's sometimes a common practice of shops to offer that option. Some carriers offer that option that this parcel specifically is only delivered on a Saturday. And very interesting, it's an innovation I've seen so far only in Switzerland, but maybe I haven't looked broad enough. It's the snail, we call it snail mail. So that means delivery as not as fast as, but the opposite, as slow as possible. That could be an argument, particularly if you don't need an article quickly and you would like the merchant to be more efficient, to save costs, etc. So you can offer that option and optimize your logistics with that. And that's something the customers like if they have this option. So now let's come to the speed. How long does it take to get your parcel from Switzerland? And if you remember the shops you have seen, there are many local, let's say, merchants there, so merchants from Switzerland, but there have been a variety of merchants from abroad, so delivering even from far, like from China. And here you see the results of our study out of these 41 shops. Let's say on average, they deliver within 4 days or 5 days. That means a week. So you can consider this as kind of a benchmark. Of course, the shops offering delivering the next day or the next day after, that's usually the local shops, meaning merchants coming from Switzerland, sending out of a Swiss warehouse, and the major part of the rest of sends the goods from abroad. And yeah, I would consider 4 days as a good benchmark here. I would still say that everything above 7 days is not really accepted, except the price is so low that you are fine with everything. We also give, of course, more details. Who are these shops who deliver in what time? And yeah, you find online shops from China delivering directly from China to be considered still at the upper end of the delivery times. They're improving, but they're still there. And then yeah, the average is around 4 days. Let's come to my other favorite success factor in cross-border delivery. It's about the customs. This is where usually the biggest hassle for you as a merchant is. Do you agree? Is this often the biggest hassle? I guess so. I see nicking faces. Thank you very much. And it's also, for me, an important element of a customer experience. You might know that yourself. If you receive a parcel and then you're asked to pay in addition for taxes, which is then, or fees, which is an unexpected surprise. And usually things which are unexpected lead to disappointment. So it's very important to get this under control and to make sure that everything is communicated or paid upfront in order to avoid these unpleasant surprises. Personally, I also had experience when a postman was ringing at a door and he wanted to have the VAT and the fees in cash, and he didn't offer any other payment option, and I had no cash at home and I couldn't take the parcel. So I think that would be the worst of the experience. So looking at the shops, I think they have it very well under control. So all of them were clearing the goods in advance. So there were no hidden fees or unexpected fees and VATs included. You could notice that many of these parcels were coming from abroad. And I think in general, what should be the experience you should give? It should, when you send a parcel from abroad, at the perception of the customer, it should be as it would come from a domestic delivery partner or warehouse. I think that's the benchmark. So if the customer doesn't feel anything, that things come from abroad, this is what you would like to achieve. And for that, also when it comes to returns, it's very important. This is another success factor, I feel, to have a local return address. So if your customer would like to send something back, he doesn't want to be busy with filling out invoices, customs declaration, printing invoices, attaching that to the parcel, calling a carrier to pick the parcel up. He wants that digitally, he wants that instantly, and he wants to deliver usually the return parcel really to a local location. That's really preferred. So let's talk about these return processes. And we are looking at now at two factors. So do the shops include already a label in the parcel? Because that's what we consider still the most customer friendly. That's the easiest way to return your parcel. And if it's your objective to make it as easy as possible, could be the other way. But then we recommend that you do that. So in our study, 60% of the shops already include a label. And in the case here of 47% already include a self-adhesive tape. So it's much even more easy because you don't need tape to stick it onto your parcel. What I also find very important, and that was, to be honest, a big surprise for us in this study, that you communicate transparently about the fees. So we found out that amongst these 41 shops, we didn't find an information properly about the return costs. And that's what it should be. You need to inform your customer, is it a free return process? Does it cost something? What does it cost? And where do you put that information? So this is what you see here on that slide, the results out of that criteria. Next factor. So we feel that sustainability is an increasing more differentiator, and we were wondering what the shops are doing with that regards. And what we have found out first, we found out that already, I would say, 16 of the 41 online retailer stores had a function to filter for sustainable products. So you could mark, if you only want to get a sustainable product, you could mark that and filter that in the shop, and then the selection was reduced. And I found that quite amazing, to be honest, that already 16 out of the 41 are offering and doing that. What they also do, and here we have less shops doing that, but more and more we see every year, that they offer a form of compensation. Yeah, so that we had some best practices here, what I really like to see. So we had the example of Notino offering sustainable packaging. So it came with an additional price. So for 1 franc in addition, you can get sustainable packaging. It's not for free, but then we know other options for CO2 compensation, where customers have an option to opt in for. Or also I like the example of H&M, so that they offer the choice whether things are delivered to a Pudo or at home. Well, that's in general a choice, but delivering to a Pudo is considered also to be more sustainable because, the last mile carrier doesn't have to drive around the whole neighborhood, and it can deliver at one point. So what are the main takeaways? And I would like to underline again, these are the first results only of that study. So these were not yet 31 criteria. We have more for you to share. But let's say, looking at these things I've presented so far, what are the main takeaways? So it's about the delivery speed. So we believe that within a week, particularly when it comes to a cross-border delivery, that's the benchmark. So 4 working days, what you need to achieve from sending the goods, or from getting the order and delivering it to the household. Tracking is essential. That's something customers are expecting, and don't confuse them, but offer them the right information. The sustainable option, or let's say sustainable approach, is on the rise. We see every year more shops joining different actions with that regards. We also find that it should be very easy to return a good. Again, maybe that's not always in your interest, but the customers love it, and this contributes to a positive customer experience. and in any case, avoid extra costs unexpectedly. Yeah, so you should always transparently communicate about shipping costs and particularly also return costs, and don't hide that information, but put it presently. Here I have this QR code for you to register to get the full results of that study. As I said, the study is still ongoing. We collect additional information, are doing the interviews, doing desk research together with the university, and then complement that in a comprehensive report you can get when registering here in August this year. Next part is about emphasizing about the cross-border delivery and why is this essential and why you should bear with that. I've talked about Switzerland, but this same thing is true for the UK and Norway. These markets, maybe at the first glance, Switzerland and Norway, they look tiny, but they have a great potential for you. And I've listed some of these potentials here for you. So for Switzerland, for instance, in terms of the statistics, it's a market with a high purchasing power. So in Europe, it's the market with the second highest purchasing power. The average shopping basket is quite high if you compare that with other countries, and you are able also to up price when you can. It's also located centrally, so it's easy to ship to Switzerland, and they're also very used to shop abroad. And very important, since the beginning of that year, there are no more duties collected. So it's only VAT is collected, but there are no more duties. So it's very attractive to ship to and to sell to that market. The UK is known as the largest e-commerce market in Europe. It has a huge potential and volume. And they're also quite familiar with receiving parcels from abroad. Likewise, Norway. Out of these countries, the population of Norway is the one used the most to cross-border e-commerce. Most of the goods come into the country cross-border. And as we know also, it's a quite wealthy country. The purchasing power in Norway is very high, and they are also shopping like crazy. So online, I wanted to state, so after Denmark, they're at the second position. So out of all these criteria, these are very attractive market for you to sell and to boost your international growth and sales. But as we know, it's not easy because there's one thing all these countries have in common. They have a customs border in Europe. And that's where the hassle starts often. And and things can become complicated. And as I said, what it shouldn't be that you print out invoices, attach that to a parcel on the top. So that's a process you wouldn't like to do for yourself and neither for the customers. Of course, there are some language barriers, often it's not easy to ship to these countries. But the good thing is we have a solution for you that this is no hassle and it's a highly automated process. So connecting to our platform, we can offer you the shipment to these countries in an automated, digitized way by one integration. And we offer you, let's say, all of these service out of one hand you see there. So from transportation to the last mile delivery, to the customs clearance, export-wise, import-wise, and we offer you services like fiscal representation and VAT registration and a local return handling. How does this process look? So it starts all with the data. Because we need to cross customs, so we need to declare everything and we need to collect your data, and potentially we need to enhance your data, and we help you in enhancing the data. That's where it starts, connecting to our platform. We use AI logic also to enrich the data, to complement and correct the data, to make sure that everything is ready to be shipped. We then collect the goods at your warehouse. This can be also done if you want by your transport partner of choice. So we are flexible and modular here to work with these partners together. We do the export clearance when the goods are still in the warehouse. So everything is running automatically digitally. And that means when we do the export clearance before and also the import clearance while the truck is on the way, that the parcels can go over the border directly and inject the parcels into the local hub of the last mile carrier of choice. So we don't lose time. And this is how we, for instance, achieve a delivery within 48 to 72 hours, depending where your warehouse is located, in that case, in the European Union, to get the parcels delivered to these third markets. The process continues with, of course, handing over the parcels to the last mile carrier of choice. Here as well, if you already have a contract with your preferred local carrier, we can work with that, and we complement with our services when it comes to customs clearance or returns handling. We offer this local return handling. It can be a simple registration of the parcel and the customer gets relieved. Or also the goods are ready again for sale. But we also do classification services or refurbishment services, so that your goods, your articles are ready to sell immediately once they have returned to your central warehouse. We organize the transportation back or with your partner of choice. And of course, we take care of the re-export back to your country, because we have all the data necessary to do the import, and then we can do also the export again, and avoiding that you pay any fees for the re-import because we proved that you have imported that before. So some benefits at a glance of our solution. It's a one-stop solution if you want. We can offer all these services out of one hand or work together with your partners of choice. We have built a solution in a way that we can be very quick to your market, to these markets of choice. As I said, in generally within 48 hours, you can deliver with our solution. It's highly automated, particularly when in the customs clearance process, to complement and enrich the data. We offer you transparency as well. We have a portal you can connect to. Of course, we can deliver that information also through an interface API. So where are your shipments? Are all data, are they ready for the customs clearance? We store and document the whole customs clearance processes, because you need to store the data for a number of years. So that you can find also in our platform. And and we offer you, of course, reporting in order that you know about customs fees you have to pay or you paid, etc. So a number of benefits we give with our portal. Another benefit is the returns processing, in order to quickly relieve your customer, to make sure that your goods are ready again for sale by our local processing. And with that, it's easy to ship international, no hassle, and you can benefit from these interesting free markets. Here's some fact also again about what our digital solution, our platform, can deliver to you. What I already said about, it gives you visibility into the shipment process. It gives you all the customs documentation at hand. We will store it there, and we report to you the important KPIs. I have two benchmark cases for you, solutions we have worked for. So in the first example, Bergfreunde, a very known outdoor retailer, we work for shipments to Switzerland and the UK. So they benefit from one solution to two countries with one integration. And here, the services are focused on the export clearance from the EU and the import clearance into the third market, Switzerland, UK. They benefit from local return processing, what I mentioned before, and a short delivery time. So they make use of selectively of services we offer to them. And in comparison to that, I have another case for you. It's Mango, where we offer a full process. We have daily line hauls from Spain to Switzerland, and we hand directly over to local carriers We of course take care of the customs clearance process. We do local return handling in Switzerland, and then we ship the goods back to Spain, which are returned, and take care, as I said, about the whole process. Yeah, that's about our solutions, and that's me and my contacts. If you would like to scan that and connect with me, and then of course I'm ready for your questions with the help of Sophie.
Thank you so much for all your insight. While everyone thinks of some questions, I already have a question, if you don't mind.
Sure.
I can imagine there's lots of retailers sitting here and wondering, well, if I could invest a little bit more in the post-purchase experience, what would you recommend? What would that aspect be?
I mean, key aspects. I mean, it should be a pleasant experience out of the customer. So I think again, avoid surprises, unexpected surprises, which could mean fees from a customs process. I think that's a key element. Of course, you would like also to know everything about your shipment when it arrives, where it is. So it's about visibility into the whole process. And maybe if I select the third one, I think again it should feel like you order from a local retailer. I think, and if you, yeah, it's a bit about the speed, maybe not the most important, but it's about the hassle-free experience when receiving something and also sending something back.
Thank you. That's a good one. I see that there's lots of blue headsets. Do any of you have a question for Luca? If you could raise your hand, state your name and your company so we can get to know you a little bit as well, that would be great. The crowd is very tired. I think it's like the post
You've
afternoon.
started to break the ice, huh?
Yeah, I guess so. To maybe keep going on my curiosities then.
Okay.
The whole cross country e-commerce world, in my limited knowledge, is probably gonna get bigger, right?
Exactly.
But how do you think that's gonna develop? Like looking 5 years and 10 years ahead.
So it's true. The cross-border e-commerce market, particularly in Europe, is growing and growing. This is where really the growth is. Normally, I mean, in a country, the growth is limited at a certain point, but the options to grow further are particularly internationally, and this is what we consider. I can't recall, unfortunately, now the figures, but we have made some, of course, analysis also for us to know that we are sure to invest into this direction, and we see it's a growing market. I mean. Yeah, you see about the amount of retailers meanwhile shipping internationally, shipping abroad, and yeah, not fearing any customs border, because now you have solutions also on the market which can give a good experience also for international shipments.
And maybe the question then to you with the blue headsets, who of you is doing e-commerce in one form or another? Can we see a raise of hands? That's a couple. What is one of your major concerns that maybe in the future MS Direct could think about and solve for you?
That would be great to hear. Thanks for the question, Sophie.
I'll pick on someone otherwise. Oh, I see a hand there.
Thank you for
Perfect.
volunteering.
Oh,
Hello.
we
Hello.
can't hear
Can
you.
you,
Yes.
can you hear me? Okay. Hi, my name is Michael Jaszek. I'm with MediaMarkt Saturn. And I will make the icebreaker question. I have a question regarding the Swiss market. You showed a slide with all the parcel providers in Switzerland, and it was a long line for the Swiss Post and QuickTime, which is now part of the Post. There is No Time, which was bought by the Post, and all the others were, let's say, very small. From the volume. So I'm interested now, young people buy at Temu and TikTok and so on. Will this connection to the Swiss Post stay, or what is your view on the younger generation regarding the parcel providers?
Yeah, I mean, you're correct. The choice in Switzerland is a bit limited, or let's say the Swiss Post is quite dominant because they offer quite a good product in the delivery. And I mean, also the the new kids on the block, you mentioned them, they work in that sense together with the Swiss Post, but they also try other options. So QuickPack, they join forces with Planzer actually. So they try to be a bit a local competitor. They deliver, for instance, as well for Amazon. But yeah, many of the new kids deliver with the Swiss Post. They have, of course, a big network. They are very accepted in the market. They have their various delivery options. Yeah, so at the end, the choice is a bit limited. So also the new kids on the block, they understand that. But many try often also to follow a two-carrier strategy in order to counterbalance that a bit, or they differ between the kind of products, be it as express and standard, or offer some choices and options. That's what we also see.
Thank you, Michael, for your question. I think we have time for one final question if anybody wants to. Otherwise, I'll take the last one. Nice for me. Luca, if you had to give all of us one thing that we should take away from this talk, but also from your research around the post-purchase experience, what would that be?
There's huge potential in shipping internationally, particularly to these free markets. But what you have to consider is that the whole product must be hassle-free and seamless as it would come from a local retailer. I think that's definitely on the good side, big potential and some homework to do, but we can help you with that.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Luca, for your insights. If you're interested to stick around, do so. The next sessions will start in about 15 minutes. And don't forget to vote. The awards will be tonight. You have until 6 p.m. to vote. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Sophie. And I'm around for additional contacts and questions. Thank you.